Hi, for those of you who do not know me, my name is Angie McCracken. I am a reading instructional coach in our county. I am very excited to share with you today new features available on Reading A to Z, one of our favorite resources. Reading A to Z is a member of the Learning A to Z family. On this website, you can find a plethora of resources to supplement our county's existing curriculum. I would like to share with you many exciting and diverse ways that our teachers are currently using Reading A to Z before we begin an exploration of the new features. Teachers are using resources to provide remediation to students who are struggling, provide enrichment to students who are exceeding grade level standards, supplement the core curriculum, differentiate grade level content standards, offer multiple exposures to the same types of text, engage students with rich and robust readings, enhance background knowledge and build vocabulary, employ close reading techniques through text-dependent questions, integrate curriculum from various content areas, or to simply put a book in the hands of each of their students. This is just to name a few. This dynamic online resource provides reading materials to students in kindergarten through 5th grade. By the end of this presentation, you will have a clear understanding of A to Z's new features and feel prepared to utilize the new functionalities to enhance your instruction. Let's begin our exploration of Reading A to Z with the Resources tab. When I hover over Resources, a drop-down menu of resource categories appears. When I hover over one of these resource categories, a drawer will slide out that displays resources from that category. All of the old categories, such as books, key reading skills, foundational skills, assessments, and instructional uses are here. However, Reading A to Z now offers Common Core aligned resources, as well as resources for ELL and bilingual students. Before we move on to the next new feature, I would like to highlight a couple of the features in the Common Core drawer of the Resources section. There are two items that I found extremely beneficial to students in the classroom. One of these is the Close Reading Packs. If I click on Close Reading Packs, I am going to get packs for grades 2 through 6. What these packs attempt to do is have students work towards developing an answer for an essential question. For example, in this informational text pack, students would be asked to address the question, what do all baby mammals need? If I click on this question, I am going to get all of the resources that students would need to successfully answer this essential question. If I wanted to ensure that I had all of these materials for my students, I could simply download them as PDF files, or I could save all of the resources from this pack into my file cabinet. We will be talking about the file cabinet in just a couple minutes. Let's move on to the next new exciting feature on Reading A to Z. In the past, there was no way to search all of the Learning A to Z sites. Instead, you had to recall where materials were or search various categories to find what you were looking for. Now, all you have to do is type what you are looking for in the search bar and click on the magnifying glass. Let's say you are looking for various resources on animals. Type animals in the search bar, click on the magnifying glass, and now you are going to see the results for everything that A to Z offers on animals. This was a search based on topic, but you could also search based on skill. You may type in main idea and search. And now the search is going to pull back every single resource that addresses main idea instructionally. The final thing that you might want to search by is by level. So maybe you want everything that is in level Q. If you were to search, you are going to get all of the resources that A to Z has to offer on level Q. This is simply a functionality that is going to provide easier accessibility to the vast number of Reading A to Z resources. Moving right across the top, let's now take a look at the file cabinet. Want no more. Teachers have been saying for years that it takes so long to find resources on A to Z that they have used in the past. Although you can download and save each resource on A to Z as a PDF, this adds more steps to the process. Now, Reading A to Z offers a built-in filing cabinet in which you can save resources just as if you were using a flash drive or Dropbox. Let's find a resource that we are interested in saving. So I'm going to search tigers. I look, and the first book that I find is Saving the Last Wild Tigers, and I think that would be a good choice for my students. So I click on the book, and now I have the option to save this book in my file cabinet. I actually prefer double-sided books, so I am going to add this to my file cabinet by clicking on the plus sign, and now I'm going to choose my Reading A to Z folder, add it, and now this resource has been successfully added to my file cabinet. So if I click on File Cabinet again and go inside of my Reading A to Z folder, I now see Saving the Last Wild Tigers. Another neat function of the file cabinet is simply the ability to add folders. So if you notice, I already have two folders, my Reading A to Z folder and 3rd grade MSA Prep. If I wanted to add a folder, I could give it a name. Let's say Reading Interventions. Add it. And now I have another folder that I could add resources to. So maybe I want to look up birds. And I want to use this book, Birds, with my intervention group. I can go to the Pocket book, or any book for that matter, click on my plus sign, and now that I've added a folder, Reading Interventions, I can select that new folder, and now I have successfully added that content to my file cabinet. And if I was to click on my Interventions folder, the Birds book is located and ready to be printed for my students. I hope you are just as excited about this new file cabinet as I am, because I now know that I can organize all of my A to Z resources just like I do my Dropbox account. Let's move on to the next new feature of Reading A to Z. We all love Raz Kids, and Raz Kids is something that our students frequent. However, for a teacher to access Raz Kids, they would have to log in to their Raz Kids teacher account. Now that is no longer the case. Reading A to Z now offers direct access to Raz Kids. So when I hover over the Manage Students tab, I see all of my students that are enrolled in my class. I can click on any of these students. Let's pick Jalea. And when I click on her name, I now have access to see everything that I would see through my Raz Kids teacher account. I can see an overview of where Jalea is right now. I could look down at the last 5 books that Jalea has read. I could also send Jalea a private message encouraging her to continue the great work. I could also access all of the reports that I am used to running, like an activity report or assignment progress, simply through this tab on Reading A to Z. For those of us who use Raz Kids on a regular basis, this is a really big deal to be able to access all of our students and manage them via Reading A to Z. I can also assign a new level to one of my students or create a custom assignment. Again, this is not something that is new. It is not something that you have to relearn. It is simply access to Raz Kids via Reading A to Z. A teacher's time is precious, and this new feature of being able to manage students from this tab saves valuable teacher time. The final feature that I would like to discuss with you is the Teacher Corner. This site feature differs from the Resources tab in one way. The Resources tab is where you will find instructional resources to use with your students. The Teacher Corner is where you will find how to use these resources. It really is the one-stop shop for A to Z professional learning. You can watch tutorials on how to effectively use each of their resources in the classroom. Additionally, you can watch video clips discussing updates and current issues in education. But most importantly, in the Teacher Corner, you can find curriculum correlations. There are correlations that exist for the Common Core State Standards as well as our reading series. I am going to show you the Common Core State Standards today. By selecting your grade level and then Find Resources Now, the entire curriculum will show up and you can click on any of the standards to access materials correlated to this standards. All of these resources would help you to meet the needs of your students on each of the individual Common Core State Standards. My hope is that you are even more excited about using Reading A to Z in your classroom now that you have heard about the new features and updates to the site. Just to recap, we took a look at the new classroom resources available under the Resources tab, such as Common Core or ELL Bilingual. We learned how to search for topics and skills via the new search bar. We discussed how to easily save A to Z resources in our file cabinet. We excitedly developed an understanding of how to manage our students' Raz Kids account via the Reading A to Z site, and finally tapped into a new online professional development option provided within the Teacher Corner. Now it is time. Log on to Reading A to Z and start exploring for yourself. Thank you so much for your time, and do not hesitate to contact me with any questions you may have.